Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to American Dumpster Fire. There's a bunch of stuff in the news, and I was really hoping that with Biden winning the election or whatever, that things would calm down enough for us to discuss the real problems in this country and not the problem in the White House all the time.
Well, that problem in the White House is not going away. Biden has now won the election every day for weeks.
Yeah, he keeps beating him over and over. I mean,
like nobody has ever lost the election this many times as Trump, but he just won't let it go. And like the constant claims of voter fraud and election fraud and whatnot.
$3.5 million paid for a recount that got Biden more votes. I mean,
oh yeah, and they're basically like openly attacking the black vote.
Yeah,
like it's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
they want them to
pretty
throw out
blatant about it.
They want them to throw out legal votes and stuff like that.
Entire cities that are primarily black cities, and they're black population, and he's wanting to throw out the entire city's votes because I don't know what the reasoning is.
Yeah, blatant racist attacks.
Yeah,
on the vote.
Their lawsuits are a mess. They have Trump supporters completely convinced that there's all this voter fraud and everything, but standing in court, his lawyers will never make any actual claims of
I have never seen a
fraud.
Single shred of evidence.
There's
one.
not, and they won't present
Giuliani's
anything in
now
court
talking about some video that nobody has seen.
Yeah, no, it's one thing to lie to all your supporters. It's a whole other thing to go into court, fake evidence, and lie to a judge.
Right.
Nobody's willing to lose their license over this. So they go into court, and like there's been like a situation where they were talking about, well, they're not letting our observers watch. And he's like, are your observers not in the room? And the lawyer was like, there was a non-zero number of people in the room. And the judge was basically like, yeah. He was like, how about you stop bullshitting? Was there people in the room? And the guy was like, yeah, they were in the room. Then what's the problem?
Right.
So there was this lawsuit about people being in the room when they admitted that there were people in the room. They're observers and whatnot. There was other situations where they were filing lawsuits about the number of votes not matching up to the populations of the cities or something, or exceeding. And then they were listing voters in Michigan and counting populations in Minnesota.
Other states.
Yes.
Yes.
So like this whole thing is just this circus of bullshit.
Well, and then Powell submitting papers that look like a drunk wrote them.
I think she's on something, or was potentially drunk when
I mean, it was so riddled with typos.
Yeah,
it was illegible at points. Like it's like, what did this mean?
I mean, and lawyers go to school for so long, and then they have to pass the bar exam, and I'm really, really wondering how somebody slips through the cracks like this. How does she have a license to practice law?
I know.
How?
I'm starting to suspect
she can't even spell.
A brain-eating bacteria is the cause of the right wing. That's
it's as good a hypothesis as any.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's got to be because it is just riddled with stupidity and gullibility.
Truly.
It's an embarrassment.
But it's like this willful gullibility. Like, they don't want to know the truth. They want to be lied to. These people don't. They truly don't like America.
No.
They don't want democracy. And they are not shy when you jump into their echo chamber, which is a frightening place. But
you mean Parler?
Yes. When you truly see them talking amongst themselves, they will literally tell you it's Trump over America. They have zero problem.
Oh, yeah, when they think there's no Democrats in the room.
Oh, yeah, the truth
like
comes
that,
out.
Yeah, then you can see that they are what horrible monsters they are.
People. Yes, they do not hesitate to talk about like genocide, about literally like murdering Democrats.
Well, the funny thing is I used to watch this stuff on Reddit before Parler was a thing or whatever. You sneak into some conservative rooms. I'm going to have a laugh. Or screenshot some of this and post it somewhere else, and then you're like, "Oh my God, these people are evil."
Oh yeah.
And now Parler, they're even worse than they were on Reddit.
So they'll literally talk about how they want to make Trump a king, and they're fully on board with authoritarianism, and making him a dictator. Like they legitimately do not have any problem with it. They will use those words, king, dictator. They don't, or like authoritarianism. Like they're pro.
Yeah, like A Handmaid's Tale isn't even like dramatized. You know what I'm saying? Like that is at the very minimum
and like
what they
that's
want.
the really funny thing is they'll talk about these things and then bring up God. You know.
Well, and it's man, if you watch long enough, some of them like they bitch about like they think they should be entitled to all this stuff, right? They think they're entitled to jobs.
They
They're
think that
entitled
they're
to women.
persecuted.
Yeah, it's like why aren't I, getting these things I'm entitled to as a fragile white man?
If anybody who feels that way is listening, I want you to understand, it's because you're a truly awful person.
Nobody's entitled to shit.
No, but like if you're wondering why you're not getting like women and jobs and blah blah.
It's because you suck as a human.
Yeah.
I didn't hire you because you're a terrible person.
If you think that it should have been handed to you because you're a white male, no. The reason you don't have those things is because you're terrible. Trumpism is a disease.
It is, and I can't wait for it to go away. And really, I think the only thing that's going to work is some time and maybe Trump having a stroke or a heart attack or something like that, and then their idol is gone.
Here's my thing. Okay, and this kind of leads into the whole concept that people are now trying to push this idea that we need to let bygones, blah, blah, blah. And the answer is, fuck no. Because you cannot just let this man go on and A, run again in 2024.
Right.
B, continue to have these rallies and feed into this division that he has created, which he will continue to do.
He's still having rallies.
And he's going to continue to have rallies because it brings him money.
Right, yeah, because these idiots are buying shit, yeah.
And because he doesn't pay for any of it. So
yeah, he stiffs every city. Yeah, but how long is it till he runs out of stadiums to stiff?
Well, they're starting to sue him now, these cities, for like not paying for the
Can he
police
pardon
and
himself from
everything.
that like he is trying from everything else?
He's not going to pay it. He doesn't pay for anything. Like this is something we knew before he ever became president.
He'll just do
He
his
stiffs
12th, 13th,
contractors
14th
constantly.
bankruptcy.
Well, and he's rich enough to, and he has lawyers to hold it up in court until whatever business can't afford to keep suing
You
him.
would think the lawyers come out to be more expensive than actually paying their bills, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a poor people thing.
Yeah. So, and truth be told, he's probably paying these lawyers regardless.
I just don't understand why the venues keep letting him come. I'd be like, no, you don't pay anybody. Fuck off.
I agree. Well, that's what happened with those bus companies.
And then the police and stuff like
those
that.
repeated rallies where he kept abandoning people. The bus companies didn't get paid.
Yeah, but these suckers keep doing it. They keep showing up where they're going to get abandoned and fucked over.
That is what it is.
So
like basically though, like this whole concept of we shouldn't prosecute Trump and the rest of this very corrupt GOP. No, I think that is the most absurd thing ever. You're just begging for more corrupt criminals to come in, take over the office of president, try to destroy the government. Literally.
That's what they want, though. That's what Republicans want.
I know. But if Democrats don't take this opportunity to prosecute them for their crimes, then you're begging for it to happen again.
And let's not stop there.
And don't forget,
in and around 2016, a bunch of politicians went to Russia.
They did.
And then suddenly they were all on Trump's side when previously they all hated him.
They were.
And we need that investigated. What happened there? Were they replaced with alien doppelgangers?
My biggest
Were they
problem.
paid off?
My biggest problem with Democrats is they just look the other way on fucking everything.
Yeah.
Like, there's literal evidence of, like, election interference and things like that from Republicans in past elections. This one, I didn't see really too much going on as far as that went. They actually said it was one of the cleaner elections.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe had a lot to do with the number of mail-in ballots because of COVID, because those are harder to tamper with.
I think we were also ready from where things were coming from a little bit, in our intelligence agencies, kind of.
And the population, I think, definitely had a big hand in it because of all the early voting and the, like I think that we limited the amount of tampering that could happen. But in past elections, this has happened in local levels and state levels, where there was evidence of something being messed with, and we just let it go. Oh, well, I lost, even though there's all this evidence, and they don't look into it.
Right. Well, it costs a lot of money to, as we see, Trump is just dumping money on this whole, suing everything. And I'm sure he's not paying for any of it.
He's not going to pay it, yeah.
So all these suckers are just, they at best they're going to get publicity out of
but
towing the line for him.
Even for this election, Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell's wins are suspicious as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not doing anything about it.
Right.
Which is insane.
But for like Amy McGrath to challenge it or anything like that, it would cost her a ton of money. Because unlike Trump, she can't go and stiff the people who do it. So, and
she raked in a lot of money, though.
Yeah.
But Mitch McConnell is a disease to the entire country.
He
This
is.
isn't just like,
He's
well,
gotta go.
whatever, Kentucky sucks. This is Kentucky's affecting the entire fucking country.
Yeah.
How does this one backwards ass state have, and don't get me wrong, Kentucky, I understand, because we're basically North Kentucky here in Ohio. And I am also trapped by these fucking people who keep electing our state officials.
Well, and the severe gerrymandering isn't helping. But
Right. But the bottom line is that this state that is like bottom of the line in education and healthcare and like like everything, this state is literally holding the entire country hostage.
Well, and that's why, though, right? They're bottom of the line in education and stuff like that. So that's how you keep your people compliant. You keep them stupid.
And so now Mitch is there making sure that nobody gets any kind of COVID relief. People are literally being evicted from their homes.
Oh, he's screwing his
they
own
can't
people.
afford food. The food lines are insane. Have you seen them? They're rationing the food banks supplies, and people are waiting in line for hours.
Yeah.
Hours. Somebody who can't afford food cannot afford the gas to be waiting in line in their car for hours.
You know what's funny? So they used to show the pictures of the bread lines in Russia or whatever to show why communism was bad or socialism was bad. But the truth of the matter is most of those pictures you saw weren't from communist Russia or anything. They were actually from the Great Depression. And and people never picked up on that they were actually
they
America
do
in the Great
something
Depression.
similar now. People will post pictures and they'll say this is capitalism, this is socialism, and it's usually completely backwards. They're showing a picture of America for the socialism.
Yeah. And that's what we
picture.
have now is that the bread lines are exactly, the American bread line is the symbol of
And
capitalism.
the funny thing is that people think that this is a flaw in the system, and it's not. This is exactly the way that capitalism is supposed to work.
Yeah, because it's a one-way vacuum, sucking all of the
Mhm.
resources into the hands of the few elites,
The
while,
ones who don't actually do any work.
while stepping on the throats of the working class. That's how it's designed. But
It is how it's
you
designed.
keep voting for your oppressors. So
They're so stupid. Like, it's... Ugh. And then they call everybody else sheep, and it's just so fucking hilarious how gullible they are.
yeah, well, when they're calling me a sheep, all I hear is bah. That's
It's just, it's so crazy. Like, and this is the problem with, like, it circles right back to the education system, you know? Like, it's dumbed down on purpose. Like, it's literally to make you vote against your own interests.
They went to YouTube University where they're totally not being manipulated.
They're so passionate about their ignorance that it's just so hard to... it's painful. And you want to know what? Somebody once told me being stupid should be painful, and I cannot agree more.
But it's not.
There
It's
should
the
be
opposite.
Some sort of feedback. It is the opposite.
They are the
There should be
happiest
some
people on the
sort of,
planet.
it should be painful to be that dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so as we were saying, Mitch McConnell is making sure that we're not getting any kind of stimulus. There's no COVID help happening.
There is a relief bill, but it has nothing for the people in it.
Right,
It is
there's nothing
a
there for
handout
you.
for corporations again.
So what I was seeing was that Bernie is, of course, opposing this bill and saying, no, they're once again trying to take liability away from employers so that you can't sue your employer for putting you in dangerous work situations,
right.
which is unacceptable. Beyond that,
Lawsuits aren't the only way to get back at your employer. I'll leave it at that.
And then beyond that, there's no checks coming to people
No,
who need
none.
help. And so everybody's like, oh, thanks, Bernie. Yeah, thanks, Bernie. Because for once, somebody is standing up for the fact that this helps the people in no way.
Well, this comes back down to the fact that these idiots just buy these bumper sticker slogan bullshit that when Mitch McConnell's like, oh, you can thank Nancy Pelosi and them for not having a relief bill. Okay, there's a relief bill, but it's not for you. He's mad because he can't just give money to his friends.
And literally that's all he cares about is funneling money to the rich.
Which then funnel money back to him. He's
Correct.
made a fortune. In fact, he's made more money than any other politician off of you. So just remember that.
I can't understand how everything he does is not completely criminal.
It is criminal. It's
Then
just
why
that they've
isn't
made the
he in
laws.
jail?
They've made the laws in such a way to where they can't affect him because he's part of the
I have
part
to
of the
tell
group
you,
that made the laws to
like,
begin with.
Trump is loud, and he's certainly evil. But truly, like, it's hard to imagine someone more terrible than Mitch McConnell.
Well, I think that's why he likes Trump so much, right? Is he takes the spotlight off of him. Because a lot of people believe Trump is the bigger problem. The truth of the matter is
Trump is
Mitch
a big
McConnell
problem.
is the biggest problem in our government.
He's done the most damage.
Yes.
Trump is a big problem. He's essentially a cult leader.
Yeah.
And that's huge because he's loud and idiots listen to him. But McConnell is truly evil and truly underhanded and has done huge amounts of damage. And honestly, there's not a fix until he's gone.
Right.
Gone. No one person in our government should have as much power as Mitch McConnell
No.
has.
And it shows how the system's broken.
The system is hugely broken because while we're looking at all this, it's not Trump that's the king. It's McConnell.
Right.
He can literally just choose to not address legislation
Right.
while everybody else is
Yeah,
doing
he
all
doesn't have
this
to
work.
vote it down. He just doesn't bring it to the floor.
He just doesn't do it. So literally everything that is meant to help the people of the United States, who he's supposed to be working for, he makes sure it never sees the light of day.
It just sits on his desk until it expires.
So yes, he is pure evil.
Yep.
Okay, so aside from the fact that they're not even trying to get us stimulus checks, anybody with an R next to their name, I don't see that happening at all until we get Democrats in office.
Yeah, and we need Warnock
those-
and Ossoff.
We do. We need those Georgia Senate
We
races.
need to get rid of McConnell. I can't stress the importance, Georgia. You guys need to get out there, and I know you know. I know you know. You need to get out there and make this happen. We need to be rid of McConnell once and for all. And I think that once we are rid of him, we are rid of him. So, because once he no longer has that power that he
we
has
need to
right
make sure
now,
he never gets it back.
once he no longer has that power, though, I think people will stop backing him. You know, like I think that because the only reason he has his power is because stupid amounts of corporate money keep him in power, and I think that the corporate money will stop flowing in such volume when he doesn't have the power.
I don't know about that, but I do know that once we have the majority, we need to use it to make big changes, and then we need to use it to make sure that the Senate Majority Leader never has as much power as McConnell
Definitely.
had ever again.
We need them to strip power back from all these politicians. In fact, I never thought politicians should have as much power as they have. They're our employees.
In some ways, but I also think that the House needs more power to enforce their subpoenas.
An individual politician should not have this much power.
Yes.
As a group, it should all be much more power. In
They
fact,
should
there
have
should
the
be
power
laws in
to-
place that force people like McConnell to bring these bills to the floor, you know, and not just sit on them. Like all the shady dealings that they're doing have to be outlawed, you know. And
I agree. They should be able to do nothing without
There needs
it
to be
being
a process.
completely out in the open and transparent.
right,
Um,
yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to lie to us either. We need a law that states that they, as our employees, cannot lie to us. You know.
yeah, it's just hard to do stuff like that because they can't intentionally mislead the public, I think, is what you're looking for.
No,
Uh,
they cannot lie to us.
but if they are misinformed.
Well, I don't think that's a lie, but
Right.
But I'm afraid that if you make a loophole for misinformation, all you're going to have is politicians saying, "Oh, I must have been misinformed." So maybe after they've been misinformed 3 times, they're fired.
I definitely think we need to make it easier for politicians to lose their job.
Yeah.
This immunity they have to blatant crimes and corruption and just being horrible people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely
Like Loeffler shouldn't have a job. She should be in jail
unacceptable.
for insider trading.
Yep, like exactly.
What? Like why was nothing done?
Why Purdue as well
Yeah.
also. And that's the thing is like we just don't prosecute rich people in this country.
Right.
They live under a completely different set of laws.
Well, not only that, but when they do go to jail, they go to this fancy, nice jail where there's like tennis courts. Fuck you. No. Leavenworth or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, put them in a real
Gen
jail.
Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put them in a real fucking jail. Oh, they won't survive. Who gives a fuck?
Nope, don't care. And that's the problem with this country. Because I love how everybody likes to make this whole, oh, America's the great. No, the fuck it isn't.
Nope.
We're one of the worst.
Yeah.
One of the worst. And there was a time when I was a kid that I thought that, I was so relieved to be living in America.
Yeah.
No, this place is awful.
Oh, don't get me wrong. The world is fucked up in general. There are
The
too
world-
many rich people with too much fucking power. I mean, it's time to take the whole thing down.
This country, I never realized how blatantly corrupt the upper classes are.
Yeah. It's written into our system.
It is designed.
Yep.
And it's truly awful because they do not care how many people die at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's built where they're carpet. You know.
So it's truly awful. So I don't really have much else. We have COVID is raging out of control as expected. Thanksgiving was insanely popular at the airports. People were traveled. People spent time with family in huge numbers. And now everybody is getting sick.
So here's the great thing. Okay. They found out that it's causing erectile dysfunction.
They did.
So you can maybe thank your limp dick to
Well,
COVID.
here's the thing: is they're actually saying not only is it causing erectile dysfunction, but it's causing long term.
Yeah, like incurable.
So what they're saying, and here's the funny thing, is that for a while, because everybody is brushing it off, like, oh, it has like a 2% death rate or blah blah blah,
I just saw recently that number is actually wrong. It's more like 6.
It depends on where you are.
Okay.
But also, yeah, the number's wrong. It's never been like a 1 or 2%.
Yeah,
because
they're adjusting for something that makes no sense to
I don't
adjust
know.
for. I don't remember what
Those
the story was.
those are Trumpster numbers, but that's what they keep saying.
But
And
yeah,
the
even if it was
bottom
true,
line
it's still unacceptable.
even if it's true, the bottom line is that there is a way bigger number, much bigger percentage of people who are having lasting issues with lungs, heart, brain. Like they literally
Clotting
have,
disorders.
Yes, they literally have long-term damage, and it's closer to like 30 or 40% of people
Yeah,
who have recovered from COVID
but still have all
and
kinds
now
of problems.
now have a condition.
Now, some people never
permanent
get their sense
condition.
of smell or taste back. Or
Yeah,
Like, can you imagine? That would be horrible.
right. But the thing is that this
And those
alarmed.
are the simple symptoms. If you're never getting your sense of smell or taste back and you survive something like this, it's like you should be relieved, but you live the rest of your life like that. You know?
Right, you can never smell like your grandbaby's head, or like you can't. The smell of your wife's perfume.
You better watch smelling your grandbaby's head. They'll accuse you of being a pervert.
That's true. I meant like baby, baby smell.
Oh no,
The
I know what you meant,
lotions and-
but
No, I
Republicans
know.
are fucked up and
remember. I
accuse
know.
everybody.
That's where their
of-
brain goes first.
Well, it's because I think a lot of them are pedophiles and they
I
associate
agree
everything.
with you after what I've seen recently. Anyway, but the bottom line is that these are lasting symptoms that are very serious,
Yeah.
and everybody brushed off as no big deal. However, I don't feel like lasting erectile dysfunction is going to get the same brush off.
Well, yeah, because I mean, that's their entire personality is being a dick.
So, and the funny thing is that everybody's kind of like, well, they're incels anyway.
That's
You
true.
know?
It's not like they need it.
These anti-maskers and whatnot. But
Yeah.
at the same time,
Yeah, it's not like anybody's fucking them. So,
but if you are, a sensible person, wear your mask,
and get the vaccine when it's available.
get the vaccination,
So
protect your penis.
don't be stupid. All right. So we will talk to you next time. Don't forget to check us out at I forgot our Twitter handle. Fire_American on Twitter. American Dumpster Fire on r/American Dumpster Fire on Reddit. American Dumpster Fire on Facebook. Don't forget to check us out anywhere podcasts can be found and on YouTube. Like, subscribe, rate, tell friends and family about us. We're awesome, and so are you.